Hello everyone, welcome to City Skylines Springwood City Unmodded Gameplay episode 22. Between the previous episode and this one, I made some changes offline, which I'll talk about in the first section of this video. The second section is going to be looking at some of the issues that those changes created, and the third section will be dealing with the rising industrial demand we have right now. So that's the plan for this episode. Now I know there is a lot of garbage issue, as you can see. I'm going to deal with that a little bit later, but for now I'm going to talk about the changes I made offline. Starting with the monorail interchange that you see here. This was really ugly in the previous episode. It's not any prettier in this one as well, but it's slightly improved, especially functionally speaking. It doesn't reduce the speed of the trains passing through, and it supports all the different directions these trains are taking. Now, speaking of the trains themselves, the second change I made was in the monorail lines that we had. Previously, we used to have 3 monorail lines. I've reduced those to just 2 lines, and even though you are seeing 2 lines, it's the same configuration for both lines, just in opposite directions. The good thing about this is the line connects all the stations. Let me actually show you how these lines are arranged. So starting with Crest Sawmill Station, the blue line that you see, it starts from here, it goes downwards, it takes this route and goes even further down to the university station. This is the university over here, and then it continues to this area, and there is this new station which I've added. I'll talk about these changes in the stations as well a little bit later, but let me first show you the line. So it continues to this station, and then it goes to this route near Mulberry Park. Then the line continues this way, where it is connected with this station near Briarwood Triangle. Then it continues upwards at Foggy Heights, and then it crosses the interchange and goes to the new station in our industrial area. The pink line that you see is the exact opposite of this, and at this moment we have 7 cars in each of these lines. And the efficiency of this is actually pretty good. This one is at 90 and the other one is at 91. So a lot of people are using this, which makes me really happy. And overall, this is quite a success. Now let's talk about the changes to the stations and the stops themselves. So starting with the Crest Sawmill Station, there is no change here. But now this road used to be a monorail road like this one, but I changed that and brought the monorail line outside the road. This station used to be over here and I've moved it over here. It's much easier to deal with interchanges when the line is actually outside the road rather than inside the road. I also made some changes over here. These people have a lot of space to walk around. As you can already see, there are a lot of people who are actually walking around in these areas. So that's really good. Now, the line continues to go on in this area. Now, this station is really a new station. There used to be one station over here, but I demolished that and created a new one over here. The reason being, this is a more central location. People can come in from all over the place and really use that, which makes it more efficient. And I'm definitely seeing an increase in the usage of that. So that's really good. Now, moving forward, this line used to go on the road again until this point where we had these smaller roads. I changed that much section of the road from a monorail road to a regular road, which then goes all the way upwards. Now, the same situation was with these 2 roads as well. They used to be monorail roads, and I think I'm really happy with how this turned out. This station used to be over here. It's again outside the road, so it's really helpful. This line used to previously go above the highway, but now I've brought it below the highway, as you can see, and I like it much better this way. And yeah, apart from that, this one is a similar situation as well. There used to be a monorail road in this much section, and then the road used to be split into 2 different roads like you see right now. Now, there is one problem here, which is this traffic backup. I'll need to do something about that. I'm guessing that's because of the number of the pedestrians we have right now. So we need to find some solution around that. But yeah, moving forward, this goes on all the way up till here. Similar situation. This used to be a monorail road, which it is not anymore, up until this point. From this point all the way up till here, the line looks the same. The station is at the same place as it used to be. And then moving on, the train continues to go onto this interchange and cross and come over here. This section is really the same as well as you saw previously. So yeah, overall, these changes helped a lot, and I will keep modifying this as we go forward. I'll probably not talk as much about these new changes in the future, but I think this is good for now. So that concludes the first section of this video, and that brings me to the problems that are created because of these changes. So let's move over to this area where we have this pedestrian issue. There's a backup. This backup is because of the stop sign here, but this one is created just because people are crossing, just like you see over here, and that makes the cars stop, which is not ideal. So I'm thinking either we can have a really quick and simple solution, like maybe changing this into a traffic light and seeing if that helps. If not, we can add some pedestrian bridges or tunnels that would help the pedestrians cross without getting onto the road. But I'm going to try doing this by the traffic light first and seeing if that actually works. If not, we'll change it.
12 seconds later.
What's happening over here? People are still crossing, I think. No, they're not crossing. Okay, that works then. So if this solves the issue, we still have a backup though, and that backup is actually going all the way over here, which is less than ideal. I think we can change this section of a road to a 4-lane road. I think that's certainly helpful. And yeah, this backup is not really that good. Even though we have a light, it's not helpful. It's not letting as many cars go as I would like it to be. I think it might be good to actually fix this with a different solution. So let's not rely on the traffic light. Let's use some pedestrian bridges. So I'll do that and see you guys in just a moment. Okay, so it seems like that issue is solved for the most part. Let's see how we are doing in terms of traffic. We are doing 92, which is actually really good. So this was caused by two main problems. One was pedestrians crossing and making people stop. The other one was lane math. Essentially, cars going straight through were waiting for cars that wanted to turn left, and they couldn't turn left because there were people crossing the streets. And there are vehicles who are also taking a U-turn from here, so adding 3 lanes over here also helped to an extent. The other thing was removing the promenade from here. That helped reduce the number of people crossing the street from the street level rather than using the bridges. Although I want to see how this looks like with the promenade added once again. Let's see, this is a little test that we can do. I think it might be a problem once again, but let's see. Let's see if that happens.
1 hour later.
Alright, so we have some issue once again after adding this promenade, so I'm going to remove that for sure. And let me take a minute to actually beautify this a little bit and see you guys in a moment. Alright, so I made some changes which I think makes it a little bit more pleasant to look at, and I think this certainly solves the problems that we originally had. This is definitely fixed. I'm just going to bring this road once again, and that's perfect. So let's move on to the third section of this video. Now, like I mentioned, we have a lot of industrial demand. Right now, the demand between all three is slightly more balanced than when we started, but I'm going to still add some industries, and for that, this I believe is a good area. We have a good amount of fertile land that we can use in this area. We have used some of that for building our residential area in Mulberry Park. We are not going to destroy that, obviously, but we can use this area. And this can give our city a little bit more variety in terms of different kinds of zones and aesthetic styles. So I'm going to do that. I already have a framework of how my roads are going to be from this interchange. That might create some pressure in terms of traffic, but we'll deal with that when we have to. For now, I'm going to make these industries and see you guys in just a moment. Alright, so our farming zone is ready. We don't have that many blocks, but I think overall this is looking really good. And it is definitely providing a stark contrast from these tall buildings we have here, but I think it is looking good nonetheless. We have these two little promenades that would help people get into this area from the station. And overall, I think the aesthetic of this is really nice. We have some worker issue over here, but that will be eventually fixed. In terms of the demand, we haven't made much difference, obviously considering this is a very small area. So eventually we'll need to find a new place where we can add more industries. But I think this is good for now. That brings us to the end of this episode. I'm just going to quickly check this to see if this has any more problems. It doesn't seem like it does, which is perfect. And this connection here helps them get into this as well. So that's exactly what we want. And overall, everything else is looking good. I'm just going to quickly check the monorail. We have a lot of passengers in these, which is perfect. The efficiency of this is slightly reduced than before. And let's check this one. This is the same as well. That's still not bad. We'll obviously keep reviewing this as we go forward. So this brings us to a good conclusion, and we'll see what we can do in the next episode. So that's the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.